class 3, meal planning made easy, and we're gonna delve into inflammation so that it kind of clears up some of the fog there, so to speak. So, and hopefully we're gonna make meal planning a little easier. So I often hear from people, and I've experienced this, that, you get home from a long day where things have gone a little different than planned. You're already 30 minutes behind. You're hungry. Maybe there's other people in the house that are like, when's dinner? And you're like, oh, I was going to do that recipe that, I saw in class and I tasted and I really liked it. And you start thinking, and then you look at the recipe, and then you think, and then you check, and you're like, 5 times look at the recipe, and you're like, I've got a pizza in the freezer. I think I'm going to go for the pizza. So, or the takeout. So, and I totally get that. Oh, Ernie's at the door. Ernie's coming in. So I totally get that. And most of us in that scenario, it makes perfect sense that you're going to go for the frozen pizza because your mental energy is spent. So we got to make meal planning easy and adaptable for our lifestyle. And don't put this weight on your shoulder that you need to spend an hour every night for meal prep. Okay, I don't do that. And I include other people in the household. Okay, and they don't eat exactly like me either. We find a way to make it work. And that's what I'm here to help you do. Okay, so awesome. So big thank you to Trinity Foundation for making these classes possible. So I have a lot of fun. I hope you have a lot of fun. And we are impacting lives through these classes. So I'm thrilled that we can offer these. And also Gilda's Club. Gilda's Club's fantastic too. So big thank you to them. Now you may be wondering, I don't know if you've seen here, I have beans in a jar. So here's the idea. So so many things in life. We like have our job where we've got projects, deadlines, we've got events, we've got, just all these kind of what I call milestones that we focus on and go for, and goals, and we can see the steps along the way. We know how we're progressing. And here with lifestyle change, I'm telling you, guys, the learnings all count, even when you mess up and when things don't go the way you want. I want you to embrace that. And that's hard given what we've been trained to and how we're wired. So how do we make it easier? Well, here's just one way that works for a lot of people. And that is, these are coffee beans. So these are ones that I found in my cupboard that I have not ground, or it's been a while. So if you have any of those, that would be perfect for this. So the idea is put a supply somewhere in your house, probably not the kitchen. It could be the kitchen, and then a jar. Just a jar. And then every time you do a behavior that progresses your health forward. Now, the learnings too, the observations, the self-compassion, just being aware, guys, because the first step of any change is being aware. I want you to drop in a bean so that over time, you're going to see. And it actually probably would be better if I had a smaller jar because you're going to see it build up quicker. So, okay, this is a visual trick and you know what's going on, but it works, guys, even when we know what's going on. So put it somewhere where you're like, oh yeah, I did that thought today, or I had that conversation about health that I wouldn't have had before, or you know what, I looked at the label, or in the cafeteria, you know what, I hesitated and went over and looked at the salad bar. Okay, I don't care if you did take the salad bar, but you started the baby step towards that, so that you start, because this is all that you need to happen for you to progress forward. So you have been to, let's see, you've been to 3 classes we're at, you've opened the binder a couple times, you've looked at a couple labels, you've maybe tried a couple recipes, gotten some products, stopped in the grocery store thinking about things. So look at all the changes that you've already done. And I'm being conservative. Okay, many of you in class have done way more than this. So think about that, because I know this is hard, because I'm not going to be there to cheerlead you on all the time. Hopefully I'm a little voice though that helps out, but I know that may sometimes just go away. So I want you to find a way to keep this going. So let me know if you try this out, but this does actually work. And you know where I got the idea? I actually got it from a lifestyle doctor in the UK. So he's one of my favorite podcasts, Dr. Rangan. He's very holistic, GP. He's actually the top GP podcast in UK. So, and he recommends that to his patients because he knows how hard it is to make lifestyle change. So, okay. Now, so next week, what's going to happen next week? Next week, we're going to explore that food that's kind of trash talked, tofu. Okay, and I'm going to give you the easiest, simplest, fastest recipe for tofu. And I'm going to break down a lot of the mystery behind tofu. And also we're going to make a coleslaw with a kind of Thai dressing on it. So gonna have a lot of fun with that. So, and we're gonna talk about power on your plate. How can you change what you're already making, preparing, and boost the power of it? So there's some easy things that don't cost you any money. So, okay, now, okay, we're gonna get into inflammation now. So inflammation is this mysterious thing that we throw around. We know it's not good. We talk anti-inflammation, pro-inflammation. And you know what? There's, the doctor doesn't write out a diagnosis for inflammation. And there's no walk that we do or, pink ribbon for inflammation, but we know it's there and it's important. And, we hear, it's like probably responsible for part of the acceleration of all the chronic diseases. And it is. So, what is this mysterious thing? Can I get rid of it? Can I just somehow get it gone? So, okay, so let's get into, actually inflammation is the single most significant cause of mortality. It counts for half the deaths worldwide, estimated. So that gives you notice there. Okay, so let's jump into, sorry about that. When I get close, guys, you at home get a close up of my face. So I'm going to share and we're going to go to my PowerPoint for some visual kind of emphasis here. So let's hop over and I really hope, can you confirm, guys, in the classroom, are you seeing my, got it. Okay. So inflammation, I used this visual last week. It's just perfect because that red fiery fire, that is what inflammation is, but it's more like a kindling wood kind of burning in your body. And what we do can either feed it, continue it, or start to quell it. So it's just a really good representation of what happens in your body. So let's go through what happens in your immune system because it's really tied to your immune system. So we know your immune system is how you defend against invaders like bacteria, viruses, and even when you get hurt, like a cut or a broken leg or something, we know your immune system's involved there. So when your body is angry at an invader or wants to try and heal, its first response is called acute immune response. And what it does is it sends platelets. The first thing, yay, we see Karen. Karen just walked in. So the first acute response is platelets. And they help to get rid of the invader. They kind of bombard it with some strong stuff. And then it's followed by white blood cell response. And they swoop in and they clean up and there's broken stuff they need to repair and debris. Tissues need to be repaired. And this can be bacterial or physical injury. So, and in that area that's healing, that the white blood cells are there, we're going to feel warmth, redness possibly, and maybe even pain. So that's all a signal that you're healing, actually. So it's fighting something that it believes is bad or an injury that it's repairing, protecting and repairing. So it could be a scab from a cut that you get in the kitchen from a dull knife. Okay, don't want that to happen. Bump on your head from whacking the cupboard. You weren't looking, left it open, or just a sore throat in the winter. So that sore throat is actually a sign that you're healing, that you're fighting something. Okay, these are all reactions to your body meant to wall off the injury and the infection and allow the healing to take place. So that's the acute response, and that is 3 to 5 days. And that response, typically your body is just really fighting hard and heavy. Now, chronic or unhelpful inflammation is dangerous. And it follows a similar process. It has the same chemical messengers, but it has a different amount. It has fewer, like a smaller amount, but the length of period isn't 3 to 5 days, it's years. So it's sneaky, and we actually don't even have tests to pick it up per se well. So it's just kind of almost undetected that's happening here. So, and you're thinking to yourself, well, that's the cleanup system, repair system. Doesn't that help? No, not in this case. So it's also called systemic inflammation when we have this chronic long-term inflammation. So those messengers, those chemical messengers, are at a low level, almost undetected, but they're persistent and they stick around for a really long time, really sneaky. And the problem here is the white blood cells, for a multitude of reasons, are turned on mistakenly and release a large amount of these really kind of, I know the word toxic isn't quite applicable, but they kill, they damage, okay, chemicals. Cytokines, you heard that? So those things, pro-inflammatory cytokines, are released because they think they're attacking the bad guy, and they're gonna, give the nasty stuff to the bad guy. And instead they're attacking our healthy body tissues. And they're breaking down our healthy tissues. And it becomes this endless loop where inflammation is causing the damage, and then the body tries to fix the damage, and it just causes more, and it's a loop. And that's why it's chronic, long-term, and it keeps slowly damaging your tissues. Now, the low levels of inflammation seem to be triggered by a perceived threat. Remember, we talk about stress on the outside, tiger threats, that kind of thing. It's the same on the inside. When your body has a perceived threat, it acts, even if it means damaging your body, so costing you, okay? It just responds. So now what happens is we also have a lot of these white blood cells that are just like circulating in the body because they think there's a bad guy, and they're not really finding this bad guy that they thought was out there. So they're kind of like, either you want to call them bored or unemployed, okay? So, and then they just start to, get busy with things they shouldn't be doing. So, and they attack. So your healthy tissues and cells. Now, researchers are still trying to understand the implications of chronic inflammation and the mechanisms, but we know it's a really huge role. So, okay, so if we talk about heart disease, one theory is that the inflammation of these bored and unemployed cells are in the arteries, in the blood vessels, and they're too long, and they promote that plaque buildup. If we've got nicks, especially if you go to my class and we talk about the little nicks in that very delicate endothelial layer, oh, that is just wonderful for the inflammation floating around there. They just love that. They go there and they party and they build up, and more builds up, and they send back messengers. Oh, what? We've got something. Again, it's a perceived threat. It's building bigger. It's not supposed to be there, but the body doesn't know it created it. And then it keeps building, and eventually that plaque ruptures. And it's the rupture and the response to the rupture that actually builds a blockage. It's not the piece that breaks off most of the time. Now, sometimes that piece that breaks off causes problems, but I'm telling you, most of the time we find heart attacks, blockages happen because that rupture, there's like, think of it like if something peels off on the outside, if you've got a big scab from, like your knee, like you fell down, those big scabs, and then you peel it back, it ruptures. That's a rupture. It's going to bleed open, right? It's going to be like, oh my goodness, I need a big cloth. I need to, but your body on the inside is like, oh, we got to send the inflammation, cavalier there. And they send it, and they make it worse at that rupture, at the plaque. They actually build up much bigger. And that's what creates the blockage and the narrowing of the artery there. Now, in cancer, over time, chronic inflammation damages DNA. Now, depending upon where it damages DNA, the form of cancer is linked to it. So it kind of, it depends, and it's one of many factors in cancer. It's not the only thing that happens and then bing, you have cancer. So, but it does contribute to the cancer. So now we don't have really good tests of detecting this chronic systemic inflammation. We have this thing called C-reactive protein, CRP, and it's on most lab tests. You can probably look at yours. The problem is it's like all the inflammation, the good and the not good, looped together. So if you've got a cold, it's going to go up, okay? But if you really want to see if there's some chronic inflammation going on, you got to be really well and then take the reading and then kind of get a feel where it is. It's definitely not cut black and white. It's more of an art of reading your labs and knowing your life and your doctor knowing you. So the bottom line, what happens in inflammation is your body sends out the cavalry to attack what it thinks is a threat when instead it's your healthy tissues. So it is not good. And we end up with bored, unemployed, inflammatory cells that get into trouble. So, okay. So chronic inflammation is linked to joints, cancer, brain, arteries, 1 in 5 cancers, especially colon and bowel. Right now we have a lot of strong evidence for. So, and there's no clear-cut symptoms. So you can have body aches, fatigue, changes in mood, brain fog, new digestive issues, blood pressure can slowly climb up. You can get hangry. These are all things that could be caused by other things. So it gets really messy. So, okay. So what can we do? So these are the 5 biggies that really help us keep inflammation at bay. So excess weight. So there's 2 things that happen here. I want you to understand that it's just not having extra pounds. It's actually what happens at the cellular level in the fat or adipose tissue. They actually release, especially the belly fat is the most dangerous. Okay. I know because of our culture, we don't like it anywhere, but the worst place is the belly because those at the micro level are releasing inflammatory chemicals. Okay, they do that just kind of on a low level. Okay, and you have this anti-inflammatory protein called adiponectin. So that is released in fat tissue around the belly. Okay, so those are just kind of feed the inflammation. Stress. Okay, we got the cortisol levels up there, and that suppresses the immune system. Whenever you got high levels of cortisol, that's a normal thing because what your body is saying, I've got a predator that I need to pay attention to, and I'm just going to tune down the immune system so everything can go towards this kind of threat on the outside. So your cortisol goes up, your blood pressure, things like that. But even at a low grade level, this is going to suppress your immune system. So, and also, of course, cortisol contributes to lots of things like diabetes, blood pressure, So look at making sure you have in your life skills for managing stress. So, self-compassion is a stress management tool that I highly recommend. Your attitude, time for self, walks in nature, meditation, breathing, even just taking 1 minute of silence. Very hard to do for many of us. So sleep. What happens is that we have sleep deficit. The hormone cortisol is broken down more slowly. And we just talked about what happens with that. So your cortisol stays in your system longer, okay? And we actually see more pro-inflammatory markers when somebody has lack of sleep, okay? So not good. Exercise. So we want to exercise just 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day increases your anti-inflammatory cytokines and decreases your pro-inflammatory compounds from working muscles. Just 20 minutes, okay? So you don't have much time, do whatever you can. Even 10 minutes is going to do something, but 20 minutes is kind of where we find the literature where exercise really boosts the immune system, okay? So then your food, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So food, fish. EPA and DHA, no, those aren't government organizations. Those are oils in fish that suppress making pro-inflammatory compounds, and they stimulate making anti-inflammatory. So they reduce those cytokines. So great. So they do a lot, actually, fish. So other thing, rainbow. We talked about that last week. So fruits and vegetables have an abundance of antioxidants that help that quell that flame of inflammation. So you want to make sure you have different colors, and you just focus on 2. That's what I do. If I'm in a hurry making a salad, I'm like, can I get at least 2 colors, maybe 3 real quick in here? So, but at a meal, just if you can at least get 2 colors, that's huge. So, okay. Vitamin E is actually a great thing for lowering inflammation. It's got this thing called alpha and gamma tocopherol, and it's amazing in nuts, seeds, and avocado. So, you know, if you like any of those, add them here and there. They are higher in fat, so we don't want to go berserk, but adding them a little bit here and there, salad and, you know, different things. So avocado, I probably have at least 4 to 5 times a week at my meals. Then polyphenols, we kind of allude, polyphenols is a grouping, if you remember, under the umbrella of phytochemicals. So those are going to be things like green tea, cocoa, blueberries, flaxseed, olive oil, grapes, apples, pears, cherries, you know, lots of things. So can't go wrong. So the polyphenols protect us from the ultraviolet radiation and repair that. So, okay. So just a little downer news here. So, okay. I didn't even make a slide for that because I'd hate having downer news. So, okay. So let me go back. Previous, there we go. Okay. So the foods to avoid. Okay. I'll just verbally, and you kind of know these. Okay. Red meats. Red meats are, let me just say the word, pro-inflammatory. Okay. The protein is not the same as protein in beans, okay, and quinoa and soy, okay. Processed meats, star that. Carcinogen equates to carcinogen, processed meats. It's the World Health Organization, it's classified as a carcinogen, processed meats. Any animal saturated fat is pro-inflammatory. White refined carbs. Now, it's going to be hard to eliminate, and I'm not saying eliminate all, but really bring it down and make sure we got lots of the repair stuff. High sugar drinks, you know, anything high bolus sugar that we talked about, that sharp increase in blood sugar. So those kind of things. So, okay, so an anti-inflammatory diet, you know what it is: fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, fish, seasonings, olive oil, beans, whole grains. Hey, lots of things you can have in there. So, okay, so let's get into menu planning. So the big thing here is you need to plan in some planning, okay? Because without planning, you're planning to fail, okay? You've heard that before. The other thing is no system will work for anyone all of the time. I don't care how great it works for you now or you did 5 years ago. You're going to have to pivot. Different seasons of life, different people in your, you know, different things you're juggling, all that. So just be ready to do some trial and error, okay? I've had calendars, like rotations with big calendars when the kids were small with rotating. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. So I had recipes that I had somebody cook. I had my housekeeper cook. So put them in the freezer. Oh my goodness, I just had this whole thing going. So not anymore, okay, much simpler. So I plan my meals in 5 minutes and then make my grocery list in 5, max 10 minutes after that, okay? If you can't do that, your system's too complicated, okay? So first thing is double and freeze when you can. Okay, start just thinking that way. And that just means start looking through your recipes, and I'll give you a tool to look through your recipes, but make notes of those that easily double, okay? So that's just gonna save you time. It just makes sense. So I try to almost weekly. It doesn't quite, it's pretty much every other week. I have a meal that I'm freezing. So, and then I write a list on the refrigerator because I'm gonna forget about it, guys. We got so much. So then that's my freezing list, okay? And I have an outside freezer and I have an inside. I'm very spoiled. So, but I have to keep organized that way. I have a certain place in my outside freezer where I keep the meals. But it's a time and mental energy saver to have their frozen meals, okay? So, quick meals. So I'm going to give you some fun things here because it's all about fun. And I have a handout that I'll email to you. I just made it last night. It's got a lot of spelling errors because, yeah, that's what happens. So sorry about that, but you get the idea. It's pretty, bare basic bones. But I just want to get you going. This is not an end all. You got to come up with a couple ideas. So kind of categories. Toasts are so easy, guys. Okay. You want to use something like an Ezekiel sprouted bread or Daniel. Those have to be frozen, guys. Yeah, I know it's very hearty, but when you toast them, they're delicious. Now try and eat them untoasted, not so delicious. So, and your base can be hummus, avocado, tahini. Tahini paste is one of my favorite new go-tos. Tahini paste is sesame seeds squeezed. So, and actually it's like natural peanut butter. You have to shake it up. You have to stir it. You can't even get it like together. So I forgot to bring mine from home. My best ones are the wide mouth ones if you have to select, because you're going to have to stir it. Okay. And it's hard to stir. Even the ones that shake, I'm like, by the time you get to the end, you're done. Like it's so thick. You can't use that. But if you can stir with a wide mouth at the top, tahini paste is kind of nutty because it comes from the seed sesame. So I have some cookies I make with just the only fat is from tahini. And they have a little nuttiness, not peanut butter, but it's a little nutty. I love them. So, and then you can add at least 2 veggies, okay? Mushrooms, tomatoes, a slice of lettuce, onions, whatever you have left over, but go crazy, guys. Toasts are so easy. There's a picture there of all kinds of, look at that, look yummy. So wraps are easy, tacos are easy. So I introduced you to wraps last week. So we're talking, now I didn't do a corn tortilla for a wrap because it's hard to do a wrap and cut, but you could do a taco. And the corn tortilla I recommend is called Mi Mamas because they don't fall apart. That's a problem with corn tortillas. You can freeze them because they come like 300 at one, container. So I don't know why they don't. And they're in the refrigerated section. So I drove myself crazy going to multiple stores the first time. I was like, where are these corn tortillas? So of course, customer service doesn't always know. So corn tortillas, seaweed, and then the spring roll rice wraps we did. And then occasionally a flour tortilla. Oh my goodness, this is a quick meal. It's not horrible to do the flour tortilla, guys. So make sure you get 2 veggies at least. Okay, last week, what we do, like 5? Okay, you don't have to do that every time, okay? So don't torture yourself, like, I don't have all the colors. Just at least get 2, guys. And you can do hummus again, avocado or tahini in the bottom. You can add a little bit of that sweet Vidalia or make the walnut one dressing in there. And you could add some nuts, some beans in there if you want to as a protein extra. But hummus is kind of, it's a proteinish there. So those are some things to go. Then bowls. On the bottom, you do a grain. Brown rice, quinoa are your most famous ones. And then lettuce or spinach, okay? So chop it up, put it there. I always have baby spinach. Every single week I get a box of that. And then a veggie, or 2 or 3 or 4, okay? Just little piles of it. There's a Bibimat bowl in the foundation class that basically is brown rice by 4 piles of little veggies, lightly steamed, and then an egg mock fried on top. So the protein next. So that can be an egg, beans, or salmon, fish. So, and then the sauce, you can just make like even the stir fry sauce we do today. You can do lemon, rice vinegar, brown sugar, coconut aminos. I have that actually on the quick handout, or tahini. So, and one of my favorite, and I'll show it when I'm on camera for at home. But this is essentially what I just call a bowl meal, and it's the quickest ever. And you can actually teach a 8-year-old or probably even younger to make it. So plates or boards. Hey, and I'm going to say it wrong. What is it? Now I'm going to blank out. What are the boards called? Charcuterie. I can't say it. I am famous for massacring every word. Like, don't ask me to learn language because I'll do it. But that's what we did last night, actually, for dinner. I just cleaned out the refrigerator and just I had smoked salmon there, a little high in sodium smoked salmon, but we had that, Wassa crackers, and then I just put out 1 fruit cut up and then all the veggies out there. And yes, we had a little bit of fresh mozzarella cheese there because I wanted an easy meal that could have in the, 15 minutes. So it's a easy fun. You can create some and have the kids help out, Mediterranean style. You can do French style. You can, Mexican. You can have your own style. But basically, it's a great way to use whatever in the refrigerator. So those are a great way to go. Other things to think about, shopping lists. When you're at the grocery store, really, really have a shopping list. It saves 20 to 40% your groceries, okay? Because the grocery store is set up for impulse buying. Have storage containers, okay, and make it easy and fun. Clear is best. Glass is wonderful but expensive. I have a couple that I love, but most of mine are the clear plastic with some good lids. Don't have the ones that warp in the dishwasher, okay? So, because you're going to use these over and over and over, and have them stackable so you don't drive yourself crazy. Multiple same lids so you're not going crazy. I mean, my mom drives me crazy with her like butter containers and whipped cream containers that she saves, and I can't find the lid. So, have fun. Start small. Just think about what you can start with, because there's several steps, okay? And so in the binder, I have the swap chart. So there's just some ideas for your own recipes, how you can start swapping, because I'm not an advocate of like destroying all of your own recipes. I want you to learn how to take your own recipes. I know Ernie is great at making things and changing them up, and Lane is too. So I want you to do that and discover and have fun. So, but look at that swap chart there. So now the master meal list is just a real simple 2-column worksheet I have there. But I highly recommend you have one master sheet with all your recipes, even like your Christmas ones and your, all of them there. And usually on the notes of mine, I'll put where the recipe is, like page 23 in this book, or it's in my binder or in the folder, or, where it is. But you need a master list so you can organize your brain. And put on there the takeout meals too, just so those are part of our life. And maybe someday you can like convert your takeout meals to something you make at home that you love. Or you can just do takeout meals less often. So, but whatever you're eating, I want on that master list throughout kind of the year. And then usually I make another master list where I break down according to what works now. And right now I have 2 lists that I work off of at home. It's family favorites and quick meals. That's it right now. Now I used to have like 6 categories when I was like crazy with organizing meals, Friday fish day, Monday meatless, all these fun names and things. And I would group them down, have 4 recipes in each category at least, and rotate them. And okay, if you like doing that and that's fun, do it. But you need to organize your recipes from the big long list that some people are going to have 50 and some people are going to have 150 on their master list of recipes they've used in the last year. So you need to scale that down. Your overload when you're at 50. You need to scale it down to like 20, 25 is a good number to work with, and start using those to pull off onto rotation. Okay. So that 20 to 25 is what you sit down with when you menu plan. And then you go throughout your week thinking, and then you can go to the weekly menu there. And I have several columns there. You can cross them off. Right now, I'm crossing off one of them and put Sienna's work schedule. Okay, so it's very important. That's right there with the menus. And then I have who's picking up Gabby, and then who's making the meal, because I have 2 adults, young adults. So mom or Sienna or Gavin. So, and Gabby likes to get in there too. She's just 13, but you know what? She doesn't want to miss out on the fun of making meals. So, so use these columns. I do like that last one a lot, prep for the next day, because I find the pressure is off after your meal is done, your dinner meal. Okay. There's pressure getting that meal. Everybody's hungry. You feel like, So after the meal's done, after you've sat down, enjoyed it with the candles and the, whatever, and then cleaned up, that's a great time to prep and think, should I make a grain for tomorrow? Is there anything I can assemble? The great thing about vegetables is you can prep them ahead and put them in the refrigerator and they're fine. And they can even sit a couple hours on the counter. So, that just start thinking ahead. How can I make it easier? Because you're putting too much on your plate when you're thinking I'm going to spend over a half an hour for meal prep at night. And sometimes that's too much. 15 minutes is sometimes the max. You know yourself. So allow that. So, and the other thing I kind of alluded to, but we'll get to it. So, okay. Here it is, action steps. So a couple of things I want to mention. I haven't really emphasized the refrigerator, but I want you to start thinking about where you look because it's so important. So the refrigerator is this magical place that everybody somehow gets, you know, the spell when they're young, that when you're bored and you don't know what to eat, you open the refrigerator. So you think, what? I've seen my kids do it. It's just this mystery, and I do it. So you've got to make sure what's in the refrigerator is what you want to eat at eye level. So just figure out where that is. For me, it's on the right side, second shelf down. So you figure out where that is. So that's where you want to put things ready to go, not carrots non-peeled. They need to be peeled. So have things ready to go that are delicious or that you can just dump together and then eat. So I have my little sauces if they need to be refrigerated there. You know, I have little roasted veggies there. Sometimes I have the cute little mason jars, the teeny ones with, I have red peppers in them, just ready to grab and go, hummus, you know, whatever, you know yourself, okay? So, but think about that. Make over one recipe on the master, you know, after you do the master meal list, you know, one of the recipes there that you love and that you want to bring in more often, but see if you can make it over to make it healthier. Try one new grain. We're going to try farro today. Add in one additional vegetable to a meal for the next week, okay? Just, you know, one vegetable, that's it. It will make a difference. There's 52 weeks in the year, so you got 52 more vegetables. Spend 10 minutes just writing down, starting that master list, okay? Just 10 minutes. And the last one's really important. Work your way to having 4 super quick meals, like super quick, like you have the ingredients. I don't care if they're jarred, guys, but you got to have something. Otherwise, you're going to be putting in, and you know, frozen pizzas aren't evil, but if you eat a whole frozen pizza, not so great. Okay, a sliver with a big salad, see that. But we just want to make it easier to eat the way you want to eat, guys. Okay, so, okay, let's get back. We see, are you guys seeing me there? Yes. Okay, I want to share before we get going, because I know we need to get going with the farro in particular, but one of my go-to meals, and again, you don't have to do this, but this one is so easy. Anybody seen these Tasty Bites? Okay, they come in a bag like this. Okay, my favorite and the kids' favorite is the lentil one, by far. Okay, I used to try them all, and the kids were always grabbing for this one. I do like this one. Now you do need to read the labels. This one passes for me. Sodium wise, it's 460, so it's getting up there. You want 500 or less, ideally for your main dish. This one is 420, okay? So no saturated fat in this one. And this one, 3 grams, okay? So they're delicious, they're easy, okay? You can either microwave this bag, or you just put a pot of boiling water, set it like it'll stand up in the boiling water. You don't have to cover it, just, you know, the latter half. And like 5 minutes, it's heated up. Then we just peel it. Usually I do that. I don't know why. The microwave seems like it'd be easier, but, and then we peel it. A lot of times I'll just set it out. I got the baby spinach. I have a rice cooker Unspoiled. So I'll usually make quinoa for me because the kids want white rice. Okay, that's just, you know, that's the way it happens, falls out in our house. So we have the white rice, but I have the quinoa, put that in the bottom, then put the baby spinach, then put the lentils, and we're done. I mean, it's beans and spices, and I mean, you could add more stuff. You can go further, but I'm talking about a meal that in 10 minutes, you could do almost with your eyes closed. Okay, and I have done it where I've called the kids and said, put the boiling water on, grab the lentils. When it boils, you put it in. Oh, I'm going to be late. All they have to do is take out the spinach lettuce. It's already washed. Open it up. Rice cooker. All my kids know how to put the rice on. So, you know, make it easy, super easy. So find your super easy, delicious meals. Okay, my kids actually like to see that on the menu. Okay, so you want those meals. Okay, so we are going to get the farro going. So because that cooks a little longer, farro is an ancient grain. It is a wheat grain, so it has gluten in it. but I just want to expose you to grains because they have different antioxidants, they have different things. So pharaohs from Mesopotamia, did I say that right? In the Bible, let's see, Cain and Abel and Abraham, I think were born there and kind of traveled around there. So it's an ancient grain. And it's kind of nutty and chewy. It's kind of like homey to me. So you want to rinse it with, you want to rinse it because it has like a starchy, it's from the manufacturing. It's not anything bad, but it's got a white coating that you want to make sure you rinse off. So just use a sieve to rinse it off. And we're going to use what's called a pasta method for cooking ancient grains. You can use a pasta or a rice method. So what we're going to do is, for the pasta method, it's a 3-to-1 ratio for water. So I've got 1.5 cups in there. I have a half a cup rinsed here. So we're going to boil it. Now, farro in the grocery store most of the time is what's called semi-pearled. So it's not actually a full 3 layers of the grain. You just can't find it. I'm sure you could order it from Bob's Mill, but it still has a lot of great stuff. Now, it takes about 25 minutes to cook. Look at the instructions. I get fooled all the time. I think, oh, this is whole farro. And then I look at the cooking and it says, if it says anything less than 45 minutes, you don't have whole, okay? So, because farro is going to take a long time to cook. But the still is, it's a grain with lots of complexity in it. So it's really great. So it's going to take 20 minutes to cook. So, but the pasta method is like pasta. It cooks and there's going to be water that you need to drain off. So it's more water. It'll absorb as much as it needs and then it'll sit and help it cook. Whereas rice is a 2-to-1 ratio, and that is just, it's going to absorb all of it. Okay, so either one, but when we do ancient grains, a lot of times we do what's called the pasta method. Okay, so we're gonna get that going, and I think we probably can go ahead and add this. So we're gonna get the timer on so that we can taste that with the stir fry. You can use quinoa for the stir fry. You don't have to be getting any special ingredients, but I just want to introduce you to them so you have a feeling for them that in a stir fry, you don't have to use the typical white rice. You can use another whole grain. Okay. So I love that. Actually, Donna, can you share? I wanted you to share and want you to share about what you do for a quick meal.
Oh, quick.
So
Okay,
Donna, yeah.
So I take a little bit of coconut oil, put it in a pan, and I dice up, I don't know, maybe half an onion or so, and put that in, and then put a bag of rice cauliflower. And then I let that cook just a little bit. Then I add a bag of mixed vegetables. So then you have the corn, the beans, carrots. So you have some variety in colors. And I'll saute that all up. And then I'll either add shrimp. If I take out shrimp, sometimes I'll just saute that quickly and put that on top. Or you could do a scrambled egg, like, for stir fried rice. And then I just add some shake on some coconut amino oils. I'm not saying it right. The coconut aminos. Yeah. And I sprinkle that on, like, instead of soy sauce, and it's really good. And it takes maybe 10 minutes. It's pretty quick. So, and you're getting the protein and the variety in vegetables, and it's good. Onion has some flavor to it too. So, yep, that's what I do. So, what do you do, Karen?
I took up the wraps last week, so I went out, bought some wraps, and I put it all in the vegetable drawer. So all I have to do is pull open one drawer, and it's all there. So I've been having lots and lots of wraps. And yesterday I was at Natural Grocers, and they've got these. They're like a ramen container, but it's beans inside instead of ramen.
Oh.
So they have like edamames, peas, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought one of those as a quick meal.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I would do is add veggies, add some shrimp, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right, for some protein. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So thank you for sharing. So, okay, kale. So we're going to saute the kale while this is cooking. So kale is a wonderful bitter cruciferous vegetable. And I had it in the water there because normally from the grocery store, unless it has brown spots on it, it's fine. So sometimes this is looking nice, but sometimes it's kind of wilty. It just needs some cold water in the stems to revive it. You can just put it in a bin with cold water, ice water for a little bit, and put it like that. So, so to get the bitterness out, we're going to want to get the spine off, the stem off. So the easiest way I find is just to take your thumb and your finger. So, and actually, did we switch? What do you see up there? Me. Okay, can we switch to 2? Let's switch to 2. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you just push that. You just take your thumb and finger and just take it off. If it doesn't work exactly, you can just work it off. So that's what I usually do. And then you want to cut it up. If you use bag, cut it up some because we want to release some of the glucosinolates. We'll talk about that next week. But you just chop it up. So about 7 cups for this recipe here. I've already got some here. So, and we're going to blanch it. So blanching is going to make it brighter green because it pops the bubbles near the surface, the air bubbles, and it is going to make it a little milder tasting and not so bristly. So this is one way kale is manageable. In the foundational class, we make a kale salad and we massage it. That's the other way. You can use it cold and massage it. So we've got our kale here, and let's see. Here we go. So I've got my garlic. Remember garlic last time? We kind of just took it in our fingers like this and broke open the cloves, and then you can cut the top and the bottom and nicely put your chef's knife there and then chop, chop, chop. So we've got our garlic, we've got our olive oil using the California Ranch extra virgin olive oil. Now olive oil, real quickly, you can go to a website called COOC.com. It's the California Olive Oil Council. And they have a list. It's a little bit hidden. I don't know why they don't make it like a big button on their front page, but it's a list from the last year. So 2022, that they've tested olive oils throughout the world. I trust their testing, okay? I do not trust the seals of the European, of the Canadian. Australian's the only other one I would, and I've never seen an Australian olive oil here. I don't know if they export them or not, but I've read up and down about this and done videos back in the day about olive oil because I'm so upset about the fraud that is not cleaned up. So, and it's still not cleaned up today. So the only other way that you can do is dig researching and go what's it called? Twisted Trunk over in Davenport and Brady. They have a white label one, and I've been there, and theirs does, we've followed the source. You can look at the best by date, doesn't tell me anything. Best by is just when it's going to go bad, and you can combine different ages. The problem is they're combining different ages and different treated. And the important thing is this is extra virgin, which means it is manually pressed and not chemically extracted. Big difference. You lose some of the great stuff. The structure is pretty much the same in both, but you lose the things in the fruit of the olive that are superpower when you chemically extract it. So the other way that if somebody brings in theirs, I don't care how fancy and how much you paid for it, I want to look for a harvest date. And the harvest date will tell me that they're a little more serious about their product. And if I can, I want an actual vineyard or estate, because that tells me it all came from there and that this person has pride. So of course, they're going to be in dark bottles. You'll hear that. If it's a light one, you know it's really cheap. So stuff like that. But for the most part, you know, there's a lot of certifications. Ignore them. The Whole 30 and all this. But there is a COOC.com certification. Look for that. I found one in Walmart when they were out of this. I was like, they're out of this. Oh no, what are we gonna do? So I sat there and looked at all of them till I found a COOC.com one. So, you know, if you want me to look at your label and use my best judgment, I'm happy to. But again, best by date doesn't, a lot of people are like, it's a best by date and it's fancy and it says it's made in Spain. And I'm like, no, don't trust it. They make a ton of money on this, guys. And I don't want you to miss out. So, okay. So, I'm going to use the pan here. So let's go ahead and go to camera 1 then, as we kind of start this up. So I'm going to heat that up, put my olive oil there, and kind of swish it around so we get it around. At home, I actually have a sponge that I cut out a little piece and I will move that around and then I run it through the dishwasher to clean it. So that way I'm not using paper towels. A lot of times I used to use paper towels to kind of spread out the oil so that I wouldn't have a lot of oil, but just enough. So just a trick I use at home. And then garlic we're going to add. And the trick with garlic is just 20 to 30 seconds. You don't want to let it burn. Okay. Once you smell garlic, it's done. Now here in the kitchen, we have good ventilation. I'm not going to smell it, but I'm just going to go about 20, 30 seconds. And then I'm going to want to add my tomatoes. So my tomatoes are my next step. So we're about 20 seconds. We're just going to move that, add my tomatoes, cook those. We're going to add a sprinkling of salt. This is going to bring out some water in the tomatoes. And then we're going to evaporate it so that we get a little less water. So we're just going to cook that. And I think next is the paprika. I'm just going by memory here. Chop, blanch. Okay. I don't know where I am. So tablespoon oil, garlic. Yes, 3 minutes. And then the paprika. So the smoked paprika is sweet peppers. It's a variety of peppers that are smoked. And it's just more flavor. Okay. It's like roasted. You know, when we made broccoli, we had all those compounds. It's just like that with the pepper. So I love it. I'll have you guys smell it here. It's just much more fragrant than typical paprika. I mean, I have paprika, but I use like probably 80% of the time smoked paprika in my dishes. So I love smoked paprika. So we're just going to sprinkle that on, let some of the oils come out there, give that a second. And then we're going to add the kale and just cook the kale. Oh, actually, I never did blanch the kale. Okay. We're going to take this off a second. Okay, blanching kale, sorry, I need to get that going. So blanching is where we steam it and then we stop the cooking with ice water. So blanching is a trick done by chefs also to get their vegetables done ahead of time so that they can just reheat them really quickly, okay, steam them really quickly. So they'll do that in the morning, just lightly blanch, and then the evening, they will, and it stops the enzymes that makes vegetables go bad in a way. So it's going to keep longer. So you can blanch things and then, you know, a lot of times actually when you freeze, it'll say blanch it because it wants you to kill the enzyme that makes it go a little bit faster. So we're going to get that boiling. I just have a steam basket in there. I'm going to steam it, the kale, just 3 to 5 minutes. You could boil it, but boiling, we're going to lose some more nutrients. Boiling takes less time, but we're just going to steam it real quick. And then I've got some ice over there that we're going to stop the steaming. So, okay, we're going to go ahead with the stir fry then while we're waiting on that. And the stir fry, I'm going to talk about the veggies. So why don't we go back to camera 2 then? So while I'm taking people through the veggies here. So we've got all the, yes, perfect. So I want to talk about our stir-fry veggies we have here. So we've got a lot of great veggies, and you don't have to have all these, but they're great to have in. Oh, actually, let me make the sauce real quick. So let's grab a bowl, and
Be able to see.
I'm gonna, nope, you are. So we gotta move that. So we're just gonna make the sauce real quick. We've got coconut aminos. There's liquid aminos. Coconut's gonna have less salt than liquid aminos. Liquid aminos made with a coconut base. Liquid aminos next to it by Bragg's is made with a soy base, just a little more salt. So we're gonna go with the coconut if you have the choice. Coconut Secret is another brand that's really low. We're gonna add that. We're gonna add some peanut butter, just regular peanut butter, because I don't want you having to get special stuff. So we're going to add a little sriracha to give us some kick. You don't have to if you don't like that much kick. We're going to add some lime, half a lime squeezed. So remember, you can use the tongs to squeeze the lime. It's about a half a tablespoon in a half a lime. So then we're going to add a little bit of brown sugar to give it sweet. And we're going to add ginger and garlic. I just added powder. You can use fresh, or add some water to thin that out. You can use fresh. You need to peel this off with either a peeler or a spoon. And then you use a grater to whittle it down. You can freeze this, but you need to peel it first if you freeze bits of it. So just another way that you can use. I do love fresh, but we're going to go super easy. So there's my sauce. I'm going to whisk that together. And I want to go through the vegetables real quickly. So I'm going to have you whisk this, Donna. So mushrooms, I got to tell you about mushrooms, guys. Even if we don't get the whole thing done, because mushrooms, a study by Penn State released in April 2021, 19,500 cancer patients. They found that all mushrooms guard against cancer. There's a compound called this amino acid ergothioneine we can't make that has an antioxidant function. It protects the cells. The strongest association with breast cancer, but the study didn't include other cancers, so we don't know. And we still have a lot to know, but we know all mushrooms help. There were some that were higher, but I just want you to know, I eat a ton of just button cheek white mushrooms, okay? So all the time. It also has vitamin D. It's the only plant source vitamin D, and 46% of the US is deficient in vitamin D. So, and washing, just washing them, that you can either use a paper towel to wipe off kind of the spots, the dirt and stuff, or you can put it in a bowl of cold water, just dump it quickly and do your hands like a washing machine, agitating it, and then lift it out. Don't let it sit. You'll see a lot of controversy online about washing mushrooms. You just can't let it sit in the water because it'll absorb it. But if you just put it in there and agitate it, it's like a washing machine, then you lift it out, you got most of the dirt off. And then chop it gently. Now, I also, if you're not going to use the mushrooms for like 5 days, like it's the end of the week on your menu, put them in a brown paper bag. They breathe best. I did that last week. I got like 7 days out of my mushrooms. Okay. So a variety too. So that's one way they keep better. So, so mushrooms, we got mushrooms, got to have mushrooms. So I had to substitute asparagus because they didn't have snow peas. I wanted you to see, this is how you store asparagus. Now you could use this with the water in the bottom, but this is short. So just use a Voss. So it works perfectly. You just need to cover it loosely at the top. But my asparagus stayed a lot longer, again, when it was the end of the week. So just an easy way. That's the best way to store it. So we've got some asparagus. I had to substitute carrot shredded. So my order of adding them, because this is thinner than the disc, is going to be different because a stir fry is all about cooking. Let's add our carrot. It's about the order because the thickest veggies are going to go first that need to take the longest to get light, crisp, tender. So, so now I'm going to switch up the order because I'm using the grated. Red pepper here. So red pepper, to cut red pepper. Okay, here's the red pepper sitting like this. Think box. We're going to cut the top off. We're going to cut the bottom off. We're going to stand it up, and then we're going to slit down the side. Can you guys see there? Slit. I just did a slit down the side and open the box up. See? Now I'm going to take the knife and just go along the level side best I can and just cut off the piffy parts. Okay, don't go in there trying to dig the piffy parts out. Just take your knife along and gently get them out. Then we're going to flip it over and get it flat. And now I can make my matchsticks or whatever I want really easily. And I did these in half because I like just smaller pieces in my stir fry. So that's how you do red pepper. So any pepper. So really, really great to know. And I did my broccoli here. My broccoli is just small. You want small so that it cooks quick. And edamame. Edamame here. No salt added, make sure, because some of the brands add salt. You want it shelled. In the freezer, I have some with a shell to show them. So, and we're just going to add that last, just kind of heat it through. It doesn't really need to be cooked per se. So, okay, I need to put a lid on this to this nice. Couple more minutes. We're gonna get this off. Okay. And, okay, so we've got to finish the kale and do the stir fry. Let me go ahead and get the stir fry going with our sauce. So, okay, you've got here, these are in the shell. So you can microwave these and eat these. Let's go ahead and microwave them so they can eat them here. You peel them through, you pull them through your teeth and eat the seeds inside, okay? So it's a fun activity. It's great to do if you have the munchies in front of TV. So you can get these, oftentimes it's off and on, but Sam's, Costco, that kind of thing. You can get the big bag, but this is nice because you can just put it in the freezer. So if you just need a snack, it's a great way to go. So, okay, so we're almost done with the kale there. Actually, let's go ahead and let's see how nice and dark that is. So we're just gonna put that in the ice cold water to stop the cooking. And basically, all I need to do is heat it through with the tomatoes and the garlic. So we'll do that off here. And now stir fry time. So stir fry. So we're gonna start with, let's see, yes, half a tablespoon. I was like, where's my olive oil?
Oh, it's right here.
Okay. Nice. Oh, here's my, I don't know, it's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna add just real carefully. I probably added a tablespoon, sorry. That's why you should measure. So, or have your sponge nearby. It's probably not gonna like my mess I made. Last week, remember, it was talking to me all class long. So we're gonna get this cleaned up. Isn't that nice if you had a stove that wouldn't let you cook unless it was cleaned up? So, okay. Now, next week, remember, we're gonna do that fun tofu and go and coleslaw. So, okay. There we go. We're gonna get going there. Push that around a little bit. Mushrooms, I like them cooked. So we're gonna start with those, get those going. And what do you think is the next veggie we should do? Okay, what's gonna need the longest cooking next here? The broccoli, yes, okay. So I probably would have done carrots if they were the discs. So, but we're gonna do broccoli. And let's find my lid.
Yeah.
Here it is. So it'll cook a little quicker. If you have a wok, that's great. You just kind of keep moving it through the bottom there where the heat hits the burner. I have never had a wok. I had, not true. I had a wok, but I just didn't use it. It was, you only use it for a stir fry. A saute, pan works great. And I'm having this recipe, guys. You don't have to use all these veggies if you don't have them. Substitute like I did, and you can have it. It makes a lot. So it's great to use in wraps the next day or in a pasta the next day. So it's a great one to have earlier in the week and repurpose. So, I have every week I have a planned over day. Okay, not leftovers, planned overs day. Okay, so make good use of that. So, okay, let me get another. And I know we're there. Okay. I know guys, you need to go. This is your lunch hour. So please, 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 action step, make an action step. I'm going to finish up the stir fry here and toss it with my delicious sauce here. Make sure you're recognizing your wins. Everything's that's a learning is a win. So find a way to remind yourself of that. Set an action step for next week, and I'll see you next week. You can hang with me here, but I know some of you need to go. So, okay. Back going. I'm going to add, so we can probably go to camera 1. So I'm going to add the broccoli, and I can probably finish up our kale so that we finish that. Just needs to be heated through, basically. We've got this going on here. We added the paprika. Oh, good thing it's all planned because we can exchange utensils. So, Okay, we're gonna get that heated up a little bit, get our broccoli going. So any questions here? Let's see, I think I hit all the things there. I wanted to let you know about broccoli, to keep broccoli, a damp paper towel over it, no bag. In the back of the refrigerator, it likes cold. It really likes cold. So, so that it can go there. So it keeps really well that way. I think that's it.
Sometimes with the asparagus, are you storing them in the fridge or at room temperature?
In the fridge, yep. This one, top shelf fridge, and then like mushrooms wherever, but like in the brown paper bag, if I'm not using it within a day.
Fridge.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay, let's add our kale there and mix that in. And we're gonna add our, okay, what do you think next? Carrots or asparagus? Okay, asparagus. Yep. Go ahead and stir that. We'll get it heated through.
I was looking at those tasty packets at Natural Grocers and I almost bought one.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of them have butter in.
Really low down on the green. Yes, I've looked at that and it's really low and then there's no I mean, there's like a couple in that one. Yes. So it's something I would do weekly,
Yeah.
but it's a great quick meal. Okay. Yes, I have looked carefully at that. And the other ones may have not passed either for taste reasons or for the nutritional.
Yeah.
You can't assume any line of products, all of them will pass, even Annie's, and they try and make themselves market as healthy, but you have to be the one that decides.
Okay.
So if you need to go, go ahead. Do you want to try the Pharaoh on your way out or anything?
I think I'm good.
Okay,
I'll be here
Ernie.
next week, so.
Okay, awesome.
Bye, Ernie.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna add red pepper real quick, a little bit. And we should be close to done. And we're at my sauce. Let's see, we got our sauce ready. Awesome. So, and we're going to add in the Pharaoh too. We're just gonna mix it all together for a final product. So I'm just gonna add these. I don't want to overcook. The edamame and the carrots, those will go fast. Just stir it. You can go ahead and pour on the sauce. And let's put it in the edamame, or in the Pharaoh. And this we can go off. Because I'm sure that's heated through. We'll put that tail.
I'm trying to find them shredded carrots. I went to 3 different stores and didn't find it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So, go ahead and pour on the sauce there.
I'm gonna finish this, right?
Yep. And just stir this off really good. It's got lots of flavor. It's not like, a large amount of the sauce, but it's really strong in flavor. We've got the sriracha in there. We've got the lime. We've got a little brown sugar. So you just need to make sure it gets stirred all around. So there we go, guys. So look at that pretty colors. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. You guys can go ahead and get water, and we'll go ahead and get some tongs out for you to dry. But we had our plan for the kale in case it would get cold, but that's a thing. Wow, that's gorgeous. Yes, yes.
So you don't have to worry about peanuts.
I know, sometimes at home I
Oh.
don't either, so, but
Wow.
my dining table, I do of all places, my dining table, I'm like, who makes a dining table that you have to watch out for hot?
Sorry, I opened the tongs and it spread out. Oh, that's fine.
So I'm looking here to look for your questions, sorry, guys. You guys, I don't see any questions, feel free to ask questions. And go ahead, if I see a couple of you are still on, if you're still kind of here with me, go ahead and send me what you're looking to do for your action step
Yeah, I do know.
for this coming week. So what from the list, or what things you're working on, or even keeping with something from last week, continuing to whittling small steps away.
It's easier to use.
It's not-
Go ahead and you can either take yourself off mute, or send me in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Sorry, I just got going blindly in class in the demo.
I looked at the whole line of these, because they're on sale right now.
Reading labels more at the grocery store, Terry. Awesome. So yes. I'm gonna guess you're going to go into shock and the salt for sure. So. Others? Feel free to reach out to me. So glad to see you guys on there. And thank you for your understanding as I learned to juggle both you guys and the in-person and all the fun stuff going on here. So thank you. See a lot of salt and sugar on labels. Yeah. So 75% of products with a label have sugar added, and salt is just like, whew, just a, ugh. So yes, keep looking at those labels, and you be the final say on whether, yes, I go forward with it or not. Nobody else knows your health needs than you.